So this is the third of the symposia that our office is sponsoring this year at the Global Center. The first one was on climate change as it relates to health equity. The second one last week was on global health, and then there's today's symposium. So the idea behind these symposia, as you all hopefully saw in the announcement when we called for proposals, is to bring together people to exchange ideas and hopefully foster new collaborations or reinvigorate existing collaborations. One of the things that we also asked was to include trainees. I'm glad to see there are some trainees here today. Please make your voices loud. So you are the future of science, and we really want to hear from you. Also, thanks to Mimi Gates, who's, I think, out there in the hall. She's the program coordinator, here she is, for the Office of the Senior Vice President for Research, and she's been doing all the legwork for organizing all these symposia. So with that, you have a very full agenda here today. I'm not one of the organizers, but I will take the liberty to mention that everybody has to be really stay on time, or else this isn't going to work. This is a real opportunity to hear a lot of science, but if people start going over, it's fall behind really quickly. So thank you for the opportunity to say something, and best wishes for a great symposium and hopefully following collaborations.
And next we have some opening remarks from Dr. Wayne Riley.
Good morning, Downstate colleagues. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Downstate Brain Health and Resilience Summit, a very important conference of all of our outstanding investigators involved in neuroscience and brain health. This is a very important topic for research and clinical application for our patients here in Brooklyn, but all over the world. So I salute each of you who are engaged in very important discovery with anything related to the brain and its tremendous impact on health and well-being. I would prefer to be with you this morning for this wonderful welcome, but I'm in Chicago this morning attending the American College of Physicians, of which I'm one of the president emeriti. You know, it's important to, as we sort of come out of the acute phase of COVID, that we get back together again and as scientists and researchers. There's nothing like sitting in a room with a colleague and talking about your work and talking about new areas of research discovery or focus or whatever. And so that's what I wish for all of you today, is that you feel a sense of relief and fulfillment that we're back together again, talking about science, talking about research, talking about the brain, and it not just in a virtual format, but for some of you in person. So again, I couldn't be prouder of all the work all of you do to advance discovery here at Downstate Health Sciences University. So have a great day and a good conference.
And then next for opening remarks is our Dean, College of Medicine, Dr. Bunacardi.
Hi, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. It's great to see all of you and meet a lot of you. You may not know this, Betty, in my office, all the grants that go out, she sends me the abstract, so I try to keep up with what's going on. I'll tell you a quick story before I get into my remarks. I trained at Downstate as a general surgeon, and in the middle of that, I did 3 years in the lab of Dana Anderson. And Dana had Darius Shalahi, so I had this model of a basic scientist working with a clinical scientist, and they taught me to be a surgeon scientist, which I know is an oxymoron. And my specialty was going out and getting human tissue and bringing it back to the lab. So what I did is I developed the isolated perfused human pancreas. So I would make the Krebs buffer, and a gallon of it. I would go out in the middle of the night to the organ procurements and get the human pancreas. No one wanted it in the mid-'80s. And I would race it back to the laboratory and then perfuse it on a machine and hook up electrodes. And I was looking at the the innervation of the pancreas and how it affected hormone secretion. And so that model set me up for the rest of my career in science, where I was always working with basic scientists and acquiring human tissues so that we could study the human tissues. So I'm honored to be here this morning. I would like to welcome everyone to the Translational Brain Health and Resilience Research Summit. I'm pleased to see so many of our downstate investigators here in person, as well as those of you who are engaged in today's summit virtually. The participation of more than 50 investigators in this gathering today demonstrates our enthusiasm for science and the commitment to Downstate's research mission. This forum's lively format will enable everyone to share scientific information and inform each other of our research findings and share our future directions. Importantly, this research summit provides a tremendous opportunity for a broad interaction among our research community. As we've all seen, advances in research have become increasingly dependent on collaborative efforts and multidisciplinary approaches. Active investigations in many biomedical fields, including brain research, have benefited from integrative work spanning from molecular to systemic systems. For example, we will hear from speakers today on how advances in understanding lupus and Alzheimer's disease have benefited from such collaborations. So as the Dean of the College of Medicine, I encourage research collaborations between our basic and clinical scientists in all of the schools and colleges of the SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University. These interactions provide a broader point of view to investigators in both areas and may allow for a deeper understanding of disease processes that ultimately facilitate the development of new therapeutic approaches. We hope that the broad representation of basic and clinical investigators here today will enable crosstalk, will bring new ideas and innovations to existing research projects, and spark the initiation of new research projects, particularly translational projects. Now, in addition to promoting biomedical advances, research has a significant impact on our educational mission. And I would like to thank all of you for all of your work on educating our students, residents, and fellows. Our accreditation bodies are increasingly looking for evidence of student and resident involvement in research, especially since step one has gone to pass-fail. For the students to get their residency programs, they have to demonstrate scholarship. But more than that, when our teachers are also investigators like all of you, they can instill that excitement for the future of medicine and that desire for lifelong learning to our students. We know that medical knowledge is a living subject which continues to evolve over time. Scientific discoveries often modify and improve our clinical approach, and we want our students to embrace these advances. Our investigators at the forefront of biomedical science and better equipped to see the coming innovations and prepare our students for the future of medicine. Now, in closing, I'd like to thank Dr. David Christini and the Office of the Senior Vice President for Research for sponsoring today's symposium. I'd like to thank the Research Summit co-organizers for all of their efforts in bringing today's event to fruition. Dr. Deborah Gustafson, Danny Rosenbaum, Todd Sachter, Mark Stewart, and Bob Wong, and of course, Rose Jackman. So again, I welcome everyone to today's Research Summit and look forward to a productive exchange of ideas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dean Brunacardi. So before beginning this introductory session, the session that I'm moderating, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction related to our discussions about the organization of the day. And I'm going to reread the paragraph that was circulated on email about what the Translational Brain Science Symposium is about. The Translational Brain Health and Resilience Research Summit is convening to explore brain health, resilience, and adaptation over the human life course. Brain health is conserved and maintained at molecular, cellular, and systemic levels with active crosstalk between brain and periphery. Attaining and maintaining optimal brain health with human aging is essential for human populations and communities Innate and acquired resilience and reserve are essential. Suboptimal brain health may lead to neuropathological alterations and subsequent clinical brain disorders. So we're all doing research in this area. We all know what this means. The symposium will be presented, as you've heard, by over 50 speakers, we hope, including many of the active investigators at Downstate, clinical chairs, basic science chairs, and several early-stage investigators. A main objective of the event is to enhance, as you just heard from Dean Brunacardi, translational communication and collaboration among basic, clinical, and public health investigators in their research efforts related to brain health at DHSU. So I just want to reiterate my thanks to all of you who've come today and joined us at this very focused and challenging endeavor.